Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a tricky little move the market made on us Friday, or where they left us sitting. I will show that to you. Sneaky little you know what's. And of course, we'll get into your questions about Lululemon, Intel, options. When you guys asked about this business cycle and where we're at in it, we'll also go over that as well. So, before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps people find the video and everything. And let's jump right in and feel free to participate in some of these questions. But looking at the futures, you can see what they did to us here. Ended up, look at this. They ran us up here. So Thursday, dropped us right there in the little shaded area. Then ran us up overnight again Thursday night. Then what they do? Boom. Dropped us right back into that shaded area right there. Once we opened, and then bounced again. Went back up here. But one thing you do notice, you got a lot of relative equal highs. Okay. There's one right there. And then when you go up to the left over here, it's even worse. And so these are just begging to get taken out, of course. And we'll go over here and we'll draw another one right here. But also, if you just look to the left, I mean, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different equal highs right there. And so they love to take that out because there's liquidity right above it. And so when we look at the direction here, obviously I'll be surprised over this long holiday when the futures open back up, they don't take this liquidity out. Try to break those equal highs, maybe these right here. But more importantly, then maybe you get a sell-off from there, because on the larger structure, it's actually a bearish structure. But when you look right here and you pull out, you can clearly see one is, what is this? That's lower highs, but we have higher lows at the bottom down there. So what is this equal to? Well, this equals to a triangle. And if we pull and get rid of all this fun stuff right here and start drawing some trend lines in and everything, you can see what I'm talking about. All it's doing is wedging it right here in this triangle. Boom. 3, 4 touches right there. Got a couple touches right here. Need a third one. And so when you look at that, this can break either way, up or down. Obviously, when you look at it, wouldn't be surprised if we come down the bottom of that trend line, maybe get you a third touch, move up, and then see if we take out those equal highs. And so again, it's a long weekend, but that was pretty interesting to see how they left the market. I know a lot of people are sitting in sales, betting it goes down, grabs liquidity, and then maybe we move up from there. But let me know what you think down the bottom. Now, getting to some of your questions here, guys. You said, thanks for the updates. Could you tell us more about the economic side we keep referring to in your videos? And if we come over to the Discord and look in the stock resource section, this is probably the most famous picture. I have another one I'm going to show you. But this one, you can see that is the stock market right there. That's the economy or the business cycle, whichever one you want to call it. Normally, the stock market rolls over before we get to the end of the economic or business cycle. And on the way at the top, it kind of tells you what is being bought up, right? When you first start the ramp up and everything, coming out of the recession, going into early recoveries, you know, you got technology, consumer services, discretionary, that's your Ferraris and stuff, industrial, and all that fun stuff. And over the end, you got staples, healthcare, utilities, real estate, financials. And 3 of those are definitely defensive: staples, utilities, and healthcare. And then if we go down and we can look over at the bottom, you can see down at the bottom where it labels out the time periods here of full recession. This is the economy. The market always bottoms before the economy fully recovers. The same way you notice in a lot of stocks, right? Which we'll talk about today. I'll show that to you as well. And then, of course, you got market top while the economy is still going. And then you got full recovery. And then finally, the economy starts to roll over. And then that gives you early recession, bear market. Now, when you look at this one even shows you the historical performance of sectors during the business phases, right? Early, mid, and late recession. And when you look, you got financials actually early. You don't see it late, right? So I'm going to show you something. You got real estate's late, consumer staples, energy, utilities, especially in recession, it's staples, healthcare, and utilities, if you notice that. And the reason why things are so messed up, I'm going to show you that in a second, but what's been going on? You see there is XLF, consumer staples, the utilities, and the healthcare, right? Has been absolutely going up. A lot of money buying into this. And even when you look 3 months out, 1 month, really don't matter. You know, they've been doing really well. And so, again, the one thing, though, that's throwing a wrench in this whole thing, because we broke the business cycle or the economic cycle, we shut down the world, is you got all these new all-time highs going on, right? And so when you look, you can see, for example, XLI, industrials. You didn't see that at the end of a business cycle, right? That's at all-time highs right there. You know, when you go over here, we'll type a few more in so you can see more what I'm talking about. We'll kind of pull this out so you can see it. But, you know, you go over to XLB Materials, all-time highs right there, recently set. XLF, all-time highs, going crazy. Go down here, see utilities, all-time highs, because those are defensive. Materials we already looked at. Transportation, nope, not quite. Healthcare, all-time highs. Communications did set an all-time high and sold off. Real estate actually is setting up there. Let's pick on this one. Yeah, that's setting all-time highs as well. And so again, it's not a normal business cycle or economic cycle, because we have these rolling recessions or whatever you want to call them. And so that's why people can't figure out where the heck we're at. That's why they sold us off in 2022, is they couldn't figure out where we're at in the business cycle. So that's what we're referring to as the business cycle. Some people think we're, mid to late cycle, on the precipice of a recession, all that fun stuff. So now you get an idea of what they're talking about, hopefully, and what I'm talking about. Next one here says, do you think Lulu is finally bottom, Mike? Thanks for all you do. Semper Fi. Semper Fi to you as well. And when you look over here, they reported earnings and popped and then dropped. But, one thing you'll notice in these stocks, I'm noticing this on a bunch of different ones right here, just decimated, right? This thing has been absolutely crushed. And one thing I've noticed, when they get down here between like 55 to 65% and stuff, then no matter what happens on earnings, again, it's like the economic cycle, right? They bottom before everything was better, because the earnings were not good at all. And when you look at it, look at your fibs, you're either going with the golden pocket, 0.79 fib as well on top of it. And that's when they usually start to come in, right? We saw this on Disney and some others. I'm going to show you here real quick. And so, whether or not it's bottom, we'll talk about in just a minute. But I'm noticing this in a lot of these different stocks, right? CrowdStrike we had talked about. This one right here absolutely got decimated down. Ends up dropping about 50%, actually more than that. If you go over to extended hours, when it really had, probably about 52%, if I'm not mistaken here, which we'll measure out. And so again, it's another one, major drop down. So yeah, about 52% right there. And then we'll go back and pull up the fib, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's another one. And you get, discount is 0.50 or below. And this one right here got, looks like the golden pocket. Yeah, so golden pocket. So it's in a discount, again, down over 50%. So they seem to like to buy in that range. When I say them, like bigger money seems like to try to come in and buy at a discount, because now their valuations are way down, right? Nike, this one got pummeled. It went down below the 0.79, down massively, down in the 60-something percentile when it went down. Ulta's another one, got absolutely decimated right here. Down about 45% right there. You look at the fibs, and again, you're drawing fibs like all the way down to the 2020 crash, right? And so when you're looking at this, again, there's another one, golden pocket, depending on where you want to stop your fib at. And so, these right here, and this one just reported earnings too, and so it's not doing super great or anything after its earnings either. But again, it's just one of these types of stocks, and again, you go to extended trading hours, and it actually, you can see right there what you don't see during regular hours. And so, yeah, basically hit its golden pocket right there, which you want right below it if you pull up extended hours. So, this is when they seem to want to come in. And, if you start to see the flow, the volume starts to build out a base and stuff, then this is, could this be a bottom for Lulu? Yeah, maybe. Again, you see Disney, another one right here, which actually that's not even the right measurement. There it is. This one right here, just, Disney the mouse got crushed, man. Down 62%, right? Went down to that golden fib. What did it do? Bounce, came back down to the golden fib. So it could take a minute to base out. When you look at this one, you're just looking at market structure shift. You're looking to see if market structure gets formed. You start assessing higher highs, higher lows. Again, on the daily, the bulls are trying to take charge on the daily right here, getting above that 50s. Stochastic needs to turn back up. The weekly, really, the RSI is trying, but this one might take a minute. I don't know if it'll be a V-shaped recovery for the sweatpants and the athletic wear or not. I'm not really sure about that one because, we are coming into seasonality, not the greatest, that's for sure. But, maybe this is when a lot of people start shopping, some November, December, and picking up their gear and stuff. But the market's going to give it its benefit and try to buy now before things get better, right? And so, again, we're talking about this thing got down to the 2020 crash area. Ain't that crazy? And so, we'll see. Just watch it. Again, I don't see some V-shaped recovery. That'd be shocking because you don't see hardly any of them doing it. CrowdStrike took a while to kind of get its bottom, and then boom, finally started taking off, right? And so I think that's something you're probably seeing a lot of these names as long as we don't hit a recession or anything. Now, speaking of beating down, why do you think Intel went up today and all this fun stuff? I'll show you why it went up. This one right here is another one, just decimated, right? You can look at it on the daily. Obviously, bulls are not in charge right now. It's trying to base out the bottom. It's got this big gap from earnings where it just got crushed. And look at this one. Ugh. It's just disgusting, man. It's down, it bounced at this 0.79 fib. Check. Now look at this, 69% down. That is insane. Matter of fact, you can buy this thing for the same price you could have bought it back in 2014. Isn't that amazing? That is nuts. Let me know if you've been hanging on since 2014. This thing and rode it all the way down. That's, woof. But it's just, outdated company, right? It's way behind the times. It depends on the government for a lot of its contracts. From what I understand, I never bought it, but that's what I read about it. And what made it pop simple was they came out with this radical reform, and they're getting advice from like Goldman Sachs and all these kind of companies trying to turn it around, and all kinds of fun stuff. And so that's why it popped. Again, it was up 2 days in a row now, and we'll see. Best moves it's had in a couple of years. And again, it's beat down. It's like a lot of the rest of them. And these other semis, which are of course way ahead of them, are got some pretty good valuations put on them, right? So in this one, obviously, clearly don't, because it's in the dumpster right now. So let me know what you think about that one. Now, the next one says, for your weekend video, can you give a brief explanation of how you draw your trend lines, time period angles, and how you use them in relation to EMAs and current price and stuff? And I'm not going to go into the EMA part of it, but for me, it's just one of those things. Look, you look at this chart right here, and you look at charts long enough, you can see it, right? And I look at this thing, and I go, okay, where's support at or resistance, right? Well, there it is. That's all-time highs. Where's the next one? Where it's at currently. If I zoom in, that's where it's at now. If we break that, we're going to go up to all-time highs, right? But that's how I'm looking at that. You look over here and say, okay, there's another resistance right there. It used to be an all-time high. And then come over here and go, oh, there's a trend line. You can pretty much look at these, right, and tell where your trend lines are going to be. And if you can look at that, you can go, I know where another trend line needs to go. Probably, somewhere in this area right here. So I can get a bunch of different touches, which will give me an idea of where we can go maybe on the next run if we actually do break all-time highs. And when I pull across here, I go, okay, got my 3 touches, which is really what I'm looking for. And if I extend it out, I go, okay, if we do break this all-time high and go up, this could give me an idea to say this may be where we're targeting, right? And so when I'm looking at it, that's kind of how I'm doing it. Again, there's moving averages I've showed you during the weekly videos, if they coincide with one another, that kind of stuff. But moving averages don't have anything to do with my trend lines, so to speak, because moving averages move. My trend lines don't move, right? And so, what I'm looking for with the EMAs and the trend lines and support lines is confluence. Where do they meet at, right? So it's going to give me an idea of a good bounce. It's going to give me an idea of a good resistance, okay? And then again, we minimum 3 touches, okay, is what you need on these trend lines and things like that. So kind of keep that in mind. If you have trouble, though, again, you look at charts long enough, you need to see it before it even gets put on there. But if you're new at it, again, there's the volume profile you can pull up. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. It'll show you exactly where to set at least your resistance lines and support lines. Look at that. Just kind of shows you exactly where volume's coming in at, right? And you look at that and go, oh, yeah, okay, I set support lines there for sure. Right, and so you can do that. I even thinking like TrendSpider or something, they do them for you. So that's kind of interesting. But I like to do my own, and so I tried TrendSpider out. I didn't like it because I just like to do my own manually and have them in there and stuff and set my own alerts. But hopefully that helps out, makes sense and stuff like that. Just keep it simple though. KISS, KISS, is the acronym. Now, this one says, hey, Mike, question for Saturday's video. I know sometimes you mention loosely throughout your videos that you bought calls and puts on a particular stock. In general, what time frame do you generally prefer for your expiration dates? And then I got a couple of things. I'm just going to read the rest of these out too. This one says, hey, Mike, can you run through your approach when it comes to options? I'm not referring to specifically options trading, rather, where do you go and how do you interpret the options information in regards to how this will impact a stock you're interested in or already in? Then we go over here. It says, can you explain how options drive the stock prices? I understand market makers have to hedge, but how does it work? And so a lot of different things about options. And, when it comes to, like, for me, if I'm going to play options, I like to play futures. But if I play options on a stock, it's going to have to be something like this. Like, this was Palantir, right? And so you see this channel. I love when they're in channels and they're coming up against resistance or support, whatever it is. And so which way you think it's going? The odds are in my favor. This is going to reject down. And with options, I need kind of a quick move, right? And so when Palantir hit that top trend line, right, it ended up rejecting down. So that's one way to do it. Of course, in phase is another one. I usually cover this in weekly videos for you guys. But this one right here, every time it comes to that shade area over the last almost a year now, it bounces, right? And it's kind of a small little area right there between like 90 550 and 100 or something like that, but you know, it has these big moves out of there. And so that's kind of the way I like to do it. I don't like to just guess and buy options and whatever. And again, when they're coming to resistance support, I like to do that as well. I normally don't play. I mean, and for me, I actually do like, there's one of them, I think PayPal. PayPal had like an October call on, right? So I'm giving it time. I normally don't like to do zero DTEs. That's not really not my thing. But you know, in this case, at least a week out, and some of them a couple months out. I even have some leap options I'm looking at as well. You know, and then I get a lot of the stuff from Cheddar Flow as far as the options, and some of the members always put a lot of options flow in the Discord and stuff, so I can see what's going on. So that's kind of where I get the information from. But like when it comes to Tesla, this is the king of it, right? Nvidia has also become one of these stocks. But when you see these moves going on, whether it's up or down, what happened, I've showed you this many times, call sweeps are just rolling in by the millions, or put sweeps are rolling in. And when that starts to happen, again, yes, market makers have to hedge, but also all these different groups around the world and all these traders and algos are going to start kicking in because they get the same information as I do, right? And everybody else does. And so they start this downward pressure on it if it's going down. And then, of course, if it's going up, they just keep buying and buying. And you keep going, man, is this thing ever going to stop going up? And then as soon as you see that those call sweeps start to, you know, dry up, the stock starts to fizzle out or whatever. But another thing that happens is it causes short squeezes, right? Because you get all this volume pushing it up. And then the shorts have to cover. What do they have to do? They have to buy back the stock. And so that's what you're seeing on this chart right here I'm showing. So hopefully that makes sense and stuff. Let me know. Please put any more questions you got in the comments for next week. Feel free to answer some of these questions with your expertise. And I hope you got something out of it. Please hit the like, subscribe button if you did. I'll do a video probably Sunday or Monday to set up the week. Because remember, we're closed on Monday. That is the market. If you'd like to sign up for the membership, like a lot of people have, feel free to click on the link down at the bottom. Less than McDonald's combo, and comes with a whole boatload of stuff. You will get your money's worth. So anyway, hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. I'll see you later.